When I made the video on how to glaze for beginners, I foolishly used the Zorn palette. I was exploring the perks of these limited colours, but I was also jumping on the bandwagon. Every time I turned on YouTube, somebody else was using the Zorn. I thought the fire dragons would suit this limited colour scheme, as they are not too dissimilar. I was left with models that I wasn't over the moon about. Since then, I've painted the Phoenix Lord Fugan, and I thoroughly enjoyed the experience. This has prompted me to revisit the fire dragons and correct the colour scheme, so they fit as a cohesive unit. So let's begin again. Welcome to Goblins and Aliens. Today, I'll be fixing my fire dragons. For this, I'm fully leaning into my influences, the artwork of Jae Lee June Chung. It would be dismissive to simply refer to them as comic book artists. They are true artists. When I look at their work, I can't help but get lost in the fine details and the use of colours. Before heading blindly into another collection of mistakes, I will take my time and write a plan of action. Decide what paints and progressions will marry up well with the Fugan paint scheme. I know I want to keep the red armour, the underlayers in brown, and I like the way the weapons look. What can I pull out of my influences? I do like the way that Lee drops into complete black, but that's not going to look great on a miniature. It will just look unfinished. I'll bring the colours down to an almost black. The way Jay purposefully shows the pencil marks in stylish striation appeals to me, and I'll try to replicate this. His character forms are usually slender and whimsical. The Aeldari have a similar vibe, and I think the two can effectively amalgamate. As you can see, I'm painting in a basic sub-assembled model. It has been primed black with a top down of brown for colour variation. Starting with the underlayer, dark brown as a base, I then use quick striking motions of a sharp-tipped brush, trying not to press down too hard with the tip. It will make the bristles separate and lose the sharp lines. As the layers get lighter, I reduce the length of each brushstroke. Due to the small amount of underlayer on display, I've jumped around the model painting the hands, arms, legs and bum. Onto the red armour. This is where I will focus on section by section. I find this approach helps with light and shadow placement. With the inside out method focuses on getting the hard to reach parts, this is the bottom to top method. The feet and legs only get a couple colour step progressions, as the light won't fully reach them because of the body's own shadow. Mixing the darkest red with black gives a good base layer to work on. Then, a straight dark red. When that layer is done, I mix a bright red and get a small step up in tone. With the same quick brush strokes, I work up just under the mid-tone. On the thigh, I do go to the top end of the mid-tone, as it is facing the sky. After completing the legs, I move on to the midsection, starting with the same mix of dark red and gradually mixing in a brighter red to finish with the same top end mid-tone as the thigh. Working in this bottom to top method offers the reward of seeing the model building in brightness and having the satisfaction of seeing completed sections. Keeps the drive for painting going on. You can probably see that the arms will get an even brighter highlight. This approach to light placement is basic but effective. There are other factors to consider: the light that bounces up from the ground, how different materials reflect other colours, alternative warm or cooler light sources. But projects like this don't require them. Just a simple, the bottom end's dark, the top end's bright. So far, the pencil marks haven't been working the way I imagined them to. I haven't been dropping the colours to complete black. I've opted for a black mix into red opposed to straight black. I didn't want to leave the model looking unpainted, which is something I'm happy to do when I'm speed painting, but not when I'm trying to get the best results out of my hobby time. The pencil marks have been successful in some of the flatter, open areas, but not on the awkward shapes. When Jae Lee is drawing, he is using a 2D piece of paper. But the shoulder pads offer a nice flattish area to push the effect as much as I can.
And the red armour's done. I might go back and touch up another few little bits if I spill any paint on it, but I'm going to go through and do all the little fiddly bits like straps and bits of material that are hanging loose, and then concentrate on either the weapons, helmet, or the banner.
The decorative wavy straps are a good way of featuring some complementary accent colours. When adding these colours, it's always good to see where else on the model you can put them. Try to keep within an imaginary triangle. This will help guide the eye around the model. I'm using green as it is the opposite to red on the colour wheel, and it fits in with the Welsh flag theme that I used on Fugan. If you have watched any of my previous videos, you'll know that this is a technique I've been pushing myself to fully understand. Using Jae Lee's artwork as a guide, he goes from black to bright white. It's this harsh contrast that gives the appearance of this metallic surface. Let's start with the black base and glaze the highlights in. With the estimation of where the reflection sits, I start adding the brighter tones with strong brush strokes, then glazing back over with the darker tones to balance them. After speaking to my buddy Mike over on Negative Gradient, he suggested to glaze in a deep blue turquoise and push the highlights to a spot white. Implementing these nuggets of advice have made a noticeable difference. Cheers buddy for the great suggestions as always. flag or banner will be a repeat of what featured on Fugan, the Welsh dragon. Start in the same way, dark and build up bright, but for the material aspect, I'm going to paint in a cross-hatched pattern, alternating the strokes with a step up and a step down tones. The overlapping tones will blend and give the appearance of fabric. Setting the gradient helped guide the highlights, and I do feel the effect worked well. Even though I don't enjoy painting white, I try my best to bring the flag up to an almost white.
Onto the helmet. I wasn't sure if I wanted to paint it red or yellow or black, but then an image struck me on the cover of Hellshock. It doesn't actually feature in the comic, but then some of the artwork, that cross right down the middle. And I thought I could use this as a black helmet with a gold cross, which would then tie in with the Welsh theme, being the original flag of Wales, the St. David's cross. So let's do it.
The gold cross is going to be more of a burning cross than a pure gold. This should merge the Welsh element and the fire dragon lore of brandishing lava-hot ferocious colours. To achieve this, I'm bringing out my favourite dry brushes and build up from a red to a yellow. The placement isn't fully important, except I am aiming the brightest yellow to the front of the helmet, as I intend to use a masking stencil to create the cross. I gave the paint around an hour to dry. I don't want the stencil to tear the paint off when I peel it back. You could probably give it less, but I see it as a perfect opportunity to have a cuppa. I cut thin strips of masking tape and carefully apply them in a cross shape, patting them down gently, trying to avoid scratching or causing any damage. With the stencil in place, I heavy dry brush black on the helmet, then onto the tape and away from the tape, to keep the bristles from slipping under the tape. As the black dries, I add a slight bit of grey into the mix to give an almost charcoal look. With that done, it's time to peel back the tape. I am very happy with the effect. I then paint the other details, the face mask, the eye lenses, and the cool golden symbol on the forehead.
With the helmet complete, this fire dragon is finished. I'm happy with the red armour, the way the gradient builds from the bottom to the top. The effect on the helmet that I was looking for is a bit obstructed by the gold symbol that's on the front. The other soldier versions don't have anything to detract, so I think it'll still work. I'll give it another shot. Unfortunately, there is a build-up of texture on the face guard from the heavy dry brushing that I did to create that red-yellow transition, so next time I will mask that off. Very chuffed with these, to be fair. I do have other Aeldari that I would like to add to this little army I'm creating. If you'd like to see more videos on them, just drop some comments below to see which ones you'd like to see me paint up. So until the next video, thank you for watching and take care.